Good morning, students. Yeah, I'm going to deal with the subject of refrigeration and air conditioning. This is the important subject in our daily life. This refrigeration R&AC having the 6 units in the syllabus. First 4 units are related to the refrigeration, and the last 2 units are related to the air conditioning. First of all, we go for unit 1. Unit 1 having 2 parts. First part containing air refrigeration cycles, and second part is related to the air refrigeration systems. Totally, the unit 1 related to the air refrigeration. Before going into the subject, we should know the refrigeration. What is the refrigeration, first of all? How to define the refrigeration? As we know that refrigeration is the process of reducing the temperature of a substance below its surrounding temperature, or it is a process of removing heat from a substance under controlled conditions, isn't it? This is a refrigeration process. What is the necessity of refrigeration? Necessity of refrigeration, as we know that in our daily life, we are using refrigeration process in different purpose, and refrigeration having the different applications. Refrigeration is used for the manufacturing of ice and similar products. And also the refrigeration having the wide application for cooling of storage chambers to store the food, drinks, and medicines without any damage to maintain at a particular temperature. And also the refrigeration having the wide application in submarine ships, aircrafts, and rocketry engines, in which the liquid fuels are maintained at particular temperature. For these applications, we required the refrigeration systems. And the refrigeration, refrigeration having the practical unit, ton of refrigeration. It can be measured in ton of refrigeration. How to define the ton of refrigeration? Ton of refrigeration is defined as the amount of cooling effect produced by the uniform melting of American ton. American ton means 907 kgs of ice at 0 degrees centigrade in 24 hours or 1 day. Once again, I'm repeating the definition. Ton of refrigeration means it is the defined of a cooling effect produced by the uniform melting of 1 American ton of ice from and at 0 degrees centigrade in 1 day or 24 hours. So 1 ton of refrigeration can be represented in kilojoules per minute like this. The value of 1 ton of refrigeration, 907 kgs. By melting of 907 kgs, during melting, it produces a latent heat 334.5 or 335 nearly approximately, divided by 24 into 60. Now 1 day, that is the 24 hours. If it converts into the minutes, divided by 60. So the value is 210.68 kilojoules per minute. This is the value of 1 ton of refrigeration. 1 ton is taken practically as 210 kilojoules per minute, or if it is converted into kilowatts, it is 3.5 kilowatts. Or if it represents in MKS units, 1 ton is equal to 50.4 kilocalorie per minute. This means 1 ton, 210 kilojoules per minute means for every minute, the refrigeration system, if any refrigeration system removes 210 kilojoules of heat from a substance, that system having the capacity 1 ton. Okay, students, clear? The refrigeration unit is a ton of refrigeration. 1 ton of refrigeration is equal to 210 kilojoules per minute or 3.5 kilowatts. Coming to the refrigeration systems, what are the different refrigeration systems we have from the olden days? The broad classifications of the refrigeration systems are natural refrigeration systems, artificial refrigeration systems. Natural refrigeration systems, in olden days, the ice refrigeration system, evaporative cooling system, cooling by salt solution, that means brine solutions, are the different methods followed to maintain the products at particular required temperature. These are the natural refrigeration systems. In ice refrigeration system, whenever the ice forms in the winter season, that ice will be cut and stored at different in different storage chambers, and whenever we require the refrigeration, the ice stored ice will be used to maintain the temperature of substance at a particular temperature. And evaporative cooling system means the evaporation of the water. By evaporating the water, it absorbs the latent heat from the rest of the water. The remaining water is cooled down, and that cold water can be used for different purpose as a refrigeration process. And cooling by salt solution. Salt solution means a brine solution having the less freezing point. The low freezing point salt solution can be used as a refrigeration refrigerant. I can be used as a refrigerant, secondary refrigerant in olden days. And coming to the artificial refrigeration system. Artificial refrigeration systems are air refrigeration system, vapor compression system, vapor absorption system, steam jet system, solar energy based systems are under the artificial refrigeration systems. In this artificial refrigeration systems, we required a mechanical system to produce the refrigeration effect. And the types of refrigeration cycles, or we are going to study different types of refrigeration cycles, are reversed Carnot cycle, first one, and Bell-Coleman cycle. It is also called reversed Brayton or Joule cycle. These two are under the air refrigeration systems. These two cycles, first two cycles are used in air refrigeration systems. Clear, students? And third one is vapor compression cycle. It is also called reversed Rankine cycle, vapor absorption cycle. These are related to the refrigerants which are phase change occurs. In which phase change occurs, the refrigerant is phase change occurs. But in first two cycles, the air is only in gaseous phase. It absorbs only sensible heat. Air is the working fluid in first two cycles, and third and fourth cycles, the refrigerant other than air is used as a working medium. Clear, students? One by one, we will discuss. In first unit, we go for the first two cycles, reversed Carnot cycle and Bell-Coleman cycle. These are the air refrigeration, related to the air refrigeration systems. So let us enter into our topic, air refrigeration cycles. Before going into the air refrigeration cycle, we should know the basics of a refrigerator. What is the refrigerator? How to represent its performance? We should know these parameters. So first of all, coefficient of performance of a refrigerator. What is the COP? Coefficient of performance means COP. How to define a COP of a refrigerator? Let us look. The coefficient of performance of the is the ratio of heat extracted in the refrigerator to the work done on the refrigerant. How much heat extracted by the refrigerator from the substance to cool it, and what is the work done given to that refrigeration system. The ratio between these two is called the COP, or coefficient of performance. It is also known as theoretical coefficient of performance, theoretical COP value. Mathematically, theoretical COP is Q by W. Here Q is the amount of heat extracted in the refrigerator and W is the amount of work. This Q is also called as a refrigeration effect, which is also called the refrigeration effect or desired effect of the refrigerator. And W is the amount of work given to the refrigerator to produce cooling effect. Clear, students? And coming to the relative COP, what is meant by a relative COP? The ratio of actual COP to the theoretical COP is known as relative COP. Actual COP generally having the less COP than the theoretical one. Relative COP is less than 1. It is also called efficiency of the refrigerator. Coming to the difference between heat engine, refrigerator, and heat pump. If we want to understand about the refrigerator, we should know the difference between the heat engine, refrigerator, and heat pump. Already you studied in the thermodynamics and earlier years. What is a heat engine? What is meant by a heat engine? Generally, the heat engine works between two temperature limits, T2 and T1. T2 is the hot body, which is also called the source, and T1 is the low temperature body, cold body, which is also called the sink here. Between these two temperatures, one heat engine is working. If the heat engine working between two temperature limits, it produces some work output, net work output from the engine, WE. By absorbing the heat from the source and by rejecting the heat to the sink. Here, the T1 is the cold body temperature, which must be greater than the atmosphere temperature. T1 is greater than or greater than TA. This is the heat engine. This performance of this heat engine represents by its efficiency. This is the WE is the net work produced by the heat engine is equal to heat absorbed minus heat rejected, Q2 minus Q1. And the efficiency of this heat engine, the performance of heat engine is expressed by its efficiency. We know that the efficiency of performance of an engine is eta E equal to work done by heat supplied. How much work is producing by that heat engine divided by what is the heat supplied to the heat engine, Q2, WE by Q2. WE is the, according to the first law of thermodynamics, the net work produced by the heat engine is equal to net heat transfer across the cycle. So Q2 minus Q1 is the net heat transfer across the cycle during cycle divided by heat supplied is the Q2. Therefore, efficiency is Q2 minus Q1 by Q2. Coming to the refrigerator. This is the center one is the refrigerator, which is also working between two temperature limits, T2 and T1. It is also called the reversed heat engine. Refrigerator is the reversed heat engine. The heat extracted from the cold body at T1 and heat rejected to the hot body at T2. For doing this phenomena, heat pumped from the one place to another place, from low temperature body to the high temperature body, it required some work input. By absorbing the work input only, it can be transferred from heat from low temperature to high temperature. Otherwise, by naturally, the heat flows from high temperature to low temperature. By using a mechanical system, we can transfer the heat from low temperature body to high temperature body. That is the refrigerator is the machine. Clear, students? From this block diagram, here the T1 is the cold body, the body which can be maintained at lower temperature than the atmospheric temperature. That is T1 is less than TA in this case. Here the T2 is called the sink and T1 is called the source because the refrigerator is aimed to absorb the heat from the cold body. That's why it is called the source for the heat and the rejected heat to the sink. This core body is called the sink for the refrigerator. But for the heat engine, the hot body is called the source and the cold body is the sink because the heat absorbing from the hot body, here the refrigerator heat absorbing from the cold body. That's why the cold body is called as a source here. The WR is the work required to the refrigerator. Clear, students? T1 is the cold body, which is to be maintained at less temperature than the atmosphere, and heat rejected to the hot body. Here, hot body is the sink, and which is generally atmospheric air or water. This is the refrigerator, which is called a reversed heat engine. A refrigerator, as shown in figure B, is a reversed heat engine which either cool or maintain the temperature of body T1, low temperature body, lower than the atmospheric temperature TA. This is done by extracting heat Q1 from the cold body and delivering it to a hot body Q2. In doing so, work WR is required to be done on the system. To transfer the heat from low temperature to high temperature, that machine or that particular device required some work input WR, that is the work required to the refrigerator. According to the first law of thermodynamics, the work required to the refrigerator, that is the net work absorbed by the refrigerator, is equal to the net heat transfer across the cycle, refrigeration cycle. WR equal to Q2 minus Q1. The performance of the refrigerator is expressed by the ratio of amount of heat taken from the cold body. What is the amount of heat extracted from the cold body to the amount of work required to done on the system. How much work is done on the system is the WR, and amount of work extracted from the cold body is Q1. The main aim of the refrigerator to maintain the temperature of cold body lower at less temperature than the atmospheric temperature, surrounding temperature. So here the desired effect of the refrigerator is heat extraction from the cold body, that is Q1. Therefore, the performance of the refrigerator can be represented by its COP. Performance of the refrigerator can be represented by its COP, coefficient of performance for the refrigerator. It is the ratio of heat extracted from the cold body Q1 divided by work required to the device, that is the refrigerator, WR. Q1 by WR, or otherwise Q1 by Q2 minus Q1. Q2 minus Q1 is the net heat transfer across the cycle during a cycle. Coming to the heat pump. What is the heat pump? It is also a reversed heat engine and also which works same as the refrigerator. This heat pump is also works same as the refrigerator because it extracted heat from the cold body and rejected to the heat to the hot body. For doing this, this device pump is required some work input WP, work done on the system itself. But the aim of the refrigerator is to extract the heat from the cold body. That is the desired effect for the refrigerator. And the pump, what is the aim of the pump? The aim of the pump is to heat the hot body. To heat the hot body by delivering the heat to the hot body. That is the desired effect of the pump. Here, the cold body T1 is a source and hot body is a sink. Here, sink is the source is the atmosphere, the heat extracted from the atmosphere and sent to the required space to be heat. What is the space which is to be heat by delivering the heat by the pump? Clear, students? Here T2 is the hot body. The hot body is also called the sink here. The sink is the required space and source is atmosphere. By extracting the heat from the atmosphere by using the pump, and it rejects the heat to the space to be cool, space to be heated. This is the heat pump, which is also called the reversed heat engine, which works between two temperature limits. Let us look. A heat pump, as shown in figure C, is also a reversed heat engine, which either heat or maintain the temperature of body T2, higher temperature body, higher than the atmospheric temperature. T2 must be greater than the TA here. This is done by extracting the heat Q1 from the cold body and delivering it to the hot body Q2. In doing so, work WP is required to be done on the system. To transfer the heat from the low temperature to high temperature, it requires some work input WP. The performance of the heat pump is also expressed in COP. coefficient of performance by the ratio of amount of heat delivered to the hot body. What is the amount of heat delivered to the hot body, and what is the amount of work required to be done on the system. COP of pump is the ratio of heat delivered to the hot body divided by work required to the pump, WP. The ratio of this ratio is also called energy performance ratio, EPR. COP of pump is also called EPR, energy performance ratio. This energy performance ratio is defined as the ratio of heat delivered to the hot body divided by work required to the pump, Q2 by Q2 minus Q1. It can be represented in COP of refrigerator. COP of pump is equal to, this can be written as Q1 by Q2 minus Q1 plus 1. Because by simplifying this, again, we will get Q2 by Q2 minus Q1. Therefore, Q1 by Q2 minus Q1 is the COP of refrigerator, plus 1. That means the COP of the pump, or energy performance ratio of the pump, is 1 more than the COP of refrigerator. Clear, students? COP of pump is equal to COP of refrigerator plus 1. Are you understanding, dear students? Now we are going to enter actual topic, that is the air refrigeration cycles. In this air refrigeration cycles, we are going to study two types of cycles, open air refrigeration cycles and closed air refrigeration cycles. Closed air refrigeration cycles is also called dense air refrigeration cycles. Closed or dense air refrigeration cycles. What is the difference between these two, open air refrigeration cycle and closed air refrigeration cycles? Here, the open air refrigeration cycle means the air is extracted from the atmosphere or space to be cooled into the compressor. In open air refrigeration cycle, the air is directly led to the space to be cooled, allowed to circulate to the cooler, and then return to the compressor to start the another cycle. Since the air is supplied to the refrigerator at atmospheric pressure, the air is taken from the atmosphere. That means the air pressure is at atmosphere pressure. Therefore, volume of air handled by the compressor and expander is very large when we taken from the atmosphere. And also, the size of the compressor and expander should be maintained very large. Another disadvantage of the open cycle system is that the moisture content in the air. Generally, the atmosphere air having the moisture, during the process of the refrigeration, this moisture can be, at the cooling level, the moisture can be frosted. This frosted moisture will be block the system or clog the system. Thus, the open cycle system, a dryer is required to avoid this clogging. Clear, students? Open cycle means the air taken from the atmosphere and rejected to the atmosphere. Here, atmosphere is the space to be cooled. That means the working fluid air here, the continuously replaced. It is not recycled, it is always replaced. The fresh air will be taken by the compressor every time. That is the open cycle, open refrigeration cycle. Coming to the closed or dense air refrigeration cycles. In closed or dense air refrigeration cycles, air is continuously recycled within the system. The air is passing through the pipe components, parts of the system at all times. The air is in this system is used for absorbing heat from the required space, other fluid or brine, and this cooled brine is circulated into the space to be cooled. That means the air which is recycling in the system is not directly involved in the cooling process. That air will be extracted the heat from the other refrigerant, secondary refrigerant. Here, where brine solution is used. That brine solution will be cooled by the air which is circulated in the system. That brine solution, cooled by brine solution, is used for the required space to be cooled. The air in the closed system does not come in contact directly with the space to be cooled, isn't it? Here, the refrigerant air is not directly involved in the cooling process. It is not directly contact with the cooling system, cooling space. Clear, students? The air, the working fluid in this system is continuously recycled. The closed air refrigeration cycle has the different thermodynamic advantages. There are two disadvantages are there since it works at a suction pressure higher than the atmosphere. Here, the system, the compressor receives the air from the cooler or reheat exchanger at higher pressure. That is pressure having the highest than the atmosphere pressure. Therefore, the volume handled by the compressor is more. Volume handled by the compressor and expander is very small when compared to the open air refrigeration system. So whenever the volume handled by the compressor and expander is very small, we require a less, that is small compressor and expander is needed. So size of the compressor and expander is less when compared to the closed air refrigeration system. And another advantage of the closed or dense air refrigeration system cycle is the operating pressure ratio can be reduced. Here, the pressure ratio between the compressor suction and deliver is very less when compared to the open system. Whenever the pressure ratio is less, the COP, that is the performance of the system or cycle or closed system, closed refrigeration cycle is higher. COP is higher whenever the pressure ratio is less. These are the two advantages of a closed refrigeration system when compared to the open refrigeration system. Clear, students? Open refrigeration system having the disadvantages, two disadvantages, and closed refrigeration system having two advantages when compared to the open system. These are the broad classifications of air refrigeration cycles. Coming to the reversed Carnot cycle. A refrigerator, if the refrigerator working on a reversed Carnot cycle, we have two cycles in the air refrigeration systems. One is the reversed Carnot cycle, and another one is the Bell-Coleman cycle, which is also called the reversed Brayton or Joule cycle. As we know that we already studied in the thermodynamics Carnot cycle. The Carnot cycle used to produce the work in the heat engine. If the heat engine works on the Carnot cycle, it is the hypothetical cycle or imaginary cycle. It's having the four process as already studied in the thermodynamics. But here, the reversal Carnot cycle having the process in the anti-clockwise direction. The cycle is in anti-clockwise direction. It is also having the four process. A reversal Carnot cycle using air is the working medium. In this, the air is the working medium. Our working medium is the refrigerant, which shown on the PV and TS diagram. Here, look at this PV diagram. It's having the four process. One is the 1, 2, 2 is the isentropic compression. After compression, 2 to 3 is the isothermal compression. It is the isothermal compression. And then 3 to 4 is the again isentropic expansion. Isentropic expansion or reversible adiabatic expansion. 4 to 1 is the isothermal expansion. The same diagram can be represented in TS chart, temperature entropy chart. If it represents a temperature entropy chart, 1 to 2 is the vertical because it is the reversible adiabatic compression or isentropic process. 1 to 2 is the isentropic process. S1 equal to S2. And 2 to 3 is the isothermal compression process or isothermal heat rejection process. And 3 to 4 is the isentropic expansion process. And the 4 to 1 is the isothermal, again, constant temperature, T1 equal to T4, isothermal heat extraction or heat absorption process. Clear, students? It is the isentropic compression, isothermal compression, isentropic expansion, isothermal expansion. During this isothermal compression, heat will be rejected to the from the system. And this is during the 4 to 1, it is the isothermal process. During this isothermal process, heat will be extracted from the required stable space to be cooled. And these two are the compression and expansion reversible adiabatic. Let us look one by one each process. The four process of the cycle as follows. Isentropic compression process, that means 1 to 2. The air is compressed isentropically as shown by the curve 1, 2 on PV and TS diagrams. During this process, the pressure of the air increases from P1 to P2. This is the initial pressure is P1, and after compression, isentropic compression, the pressure is P2. And temperature increases from T1 to T2. T1 is the lowest temperature, and after compression, the temperature of the working fluid air is T2. We know that during isentropic compression, no heat absorbed or rejected by the air, because during adiabatic process, the heat transfer is 0. Second process is isothermal compression process. The air is now compressed isothermally at constant temperature. T2 is equal to T3 as shown by the curve 2 to 3. This is the 2 to 3 is the isothermal compression on PV and TS diagram. During this process, the pressure of air increases from P2 to P3. Again, during this process, the pressure increases from P2 to P3 and temperature remains constant. And specific volume decreases from V2 to V3. During compression, the volume decreases from V2 to V3. V2 is the before compression, isothermal compression volume, and after isothermal compression volume is V3. So specific volume decreases, pressure increases. We know that the heat rejected by the air during the isothermal compression per kg of air. During this process, heat is rejected to the atmosphere from the system Q23. Small q represents the heat transfer per kg, per mass, per unit mass. Q23 is the process, is equal to, we know that from the thermodynamics concept, the heat transfer during a process, particular process can be calculated by taking the area under that curve, 2-3 curve. What is the area under the 2-3 curve? It is a rectangle. 2, 3, 3 dash and 2 dash is the area under the line 2, 3. Therefore, heat rejected during this process can be calculated by taking the area under the 2, 3, this area. What is this area? From this to this, the temperature is T2 or T3, and change in entropy from this to this, S2 or S2 to S3. Therefore, T2 into S2 minus S3 is the area under the process 2, 3. So area 2, 3, 3 dash, 2 dash is equal to T3 into S2 minus S3. T3 or T2 are equal, isothermal process it is. T2 into S2 minus S3 can be right as, for the heat rejected from the system, Q23. Dear students, this is the formula to calculate the heat rejected during that process, 2-3. And then coming to the third process, isentropic expansion process. The air is now expanded isentropically as shown by the curve 3-4. 3-4 is the isentropic expansion. The pressure of air decreases from P3 to P4. Here the pressure is decreases from P3 to P4, and also the volume increases. During this expansion, the volume increases from V3 to V4. Pressure decreases and volume increases. Specific volume increases from V3 to V4. And the temperature decreases from T3 to T4. The temperature during 3-4 process from T2 to T3 to T4, the temperature of the air is decreases. We know that during the isentropic expansion, this is isentropic or reversible adiabatic expansion, no heat is absorbed or rejected by the air. During this process also, the heat transfer is 0. Clear, students? And coming to the fourth process in the reversible Carnot cycle is isothermal expansion process. This is the isothermal expansion represented by the curve 4-1 on PV and TS diagram. During this isothermal expansion, the pressure is decreases from P4 to P1 and volume increases from V4 to V1. And temperature remains constant during this process, T4 to T1, the T4 equal to T1. During this expansion process, the heat is extracted by the system from the required space. The heat transfer during this process, 4-1, can be calculated by taking the area under that 4-1 line. This is the area under the 4-1 line. This is the area under the 4-1 line can be write as T1 or T4 is the horizontal line. That is the length of that area, and height of that area from this to this to is the T1 or T4, and length is S1 minus S4 or S2 minus S3. So therefore, we can write the area under the process 4-1 is T1 into S1 minus S4. T1 into S1 minus S4. So area under the process 4-1 is 4-1 2-3-. T4 into S1 minus S4 or T4 into S2 minus S3 or T1 into S2 minus S3. Clear? Yeah, S2 which is equal to S1 and S3 which is equal to S4. So S1 minus S4 also can be written as S2 minus S3. We know that the work done during the cycle per kg of air for a cycle according to the thermodynamics, and the net work done is equal to net heat transfer, that heat rejected minus heat absorbed, Q23 minus Q41 during the process 4. Now by substituting these values, these formulas, T2 into S2 minus S3 minus T1 into S2 minus S3. So S2 minus S3 is the common, T2 minus T1 is the remaining parameters. So net work done during the cycle can be written as T2 minus T1 into S2 minus S3. Therefore, coefficient of performance of the reversible Carnot cycle is COP of refrigerator, Carnot refrigerator, is equal to heat absorbed by the cycle divided by work done on the cycle. Heat absorbed by the cycle is during the process 4-1, therefore Q41 is the heat extracted by the cycle from the required space to be cooled. And the work done according to the first law of thermodynamics, the work done can be written as net heat transfer. Net work done is equal to net heat transfer during the cycle. Q23 is the heat rejected minus Q41 is the heat absorption. By substituting the formulas Q41, Q23, we will get the COP of a refrigerator as T1 by T2 minus T1. This is the final formula to calculate the COP of Carnot refrigerator. That means the refrigerator working on the reversible Carnot cycle is T1 by T2 minus T1. T1 is the lowest temperature, that is the low temperature, cold body temperature. T2 is the hot body temperature. Similar way, in previous slide, I explained that COP of pump can be equal to 1 more than the COP of refrigerator. Therefore, T1 by T2 minus T1 is the COP of refrigerator plus 1. The formula becomes COP of pump equal to T2 by T2 minus T1. That is the highest temperature, hot body temperature divided by difference in temperature. COP of refrigerator is the cold body temperature divided by difference in temperature. COP of pump is ratio between the hot body temperature to the difference in temperature. Similar way, and COP or efficiency of a heat engine. Efficiency or COP of heat engine can be written as COP of heat engine or efficiency is the reciprocal of COP of pump. Reciprocal of COP of pump, coefficient of performance of pump, is also called the efficiency of heat engine. Therefore, T2 minus T1 by T2. If reciprocate this, T2 minus T1 by T2 is the formula to calculate the efficiency of a heat engine which works between the same temperature limits. Clear, students? This is about the Carnot cycle, reversible Carnot cycle. Let us close this class up to this. In the next class, we will go. We'll discuss about the temperature limits of the reversible Carnot cycle and some work examples on the reversible Carnot cycle. Okay, students. Bye. Have a nice day.